Hello, beautiful souls. It is Mark David Meyer with the fire, here to take our collective vibration up a little bit higher. I'm a little winded because I'm back home. I'm in St. Louis. The time is 12:18 p.m. December 23rd, 2021. Whoever wants to run an electional chart for right now. Found my old skateboard like 20 seconds ago. Tried to pop a kickflip. I need to get back in the gym. That's how I'm feeling. But I hope you guys are doing better than okay. Hope you're doing amazing. Happy winter solstice. Happy Yuletide blessings. Whatever you are celebrating, I hope that's going amazing. I want to tell you guys about some of the astrology of the winter. And it's exciting. So take a seat, get your hot chocolate. I'm moving the tripod so much. Sit back, relax, and let's talk about the sun in Capricorn. This is what the winter solstice is about, at least in the northern hemisphere, when the sun is hella far away from the earth, and because of our tilt, we're getting less sunlight throughout our day. In most geographies, the winter solstice is the shortest day of the year. Very cool. And this brings up the whole conversation about DST, daylight savings time, stuff like that, you know. It's really cool. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, the world is going through this astrological event. But what's going on is you're going to experience less sunlight. It's going to get dark. It's going to get cold. It's winter time. You should already vaguely remember. This happens every year, and it's pretty freaking sweet. But on an astrology level, this is going to tell you the sun is going through Capricorn. So the sun going through Capricorn is, on a pedantic and semantic level, not even true, in the sense that the sun is the center of our solar system, but the Earth's perspective of the sun is going to put the sun in front of the Capricorn stars. So our ecliptic is touching the Capricorn constellation. And that's really beautiful because in astrology, you probably already know the sun represents your identity, your ego, self-expression, and awareness on a conscious level. So same way we watch the sun in transit, this is what you can expect. Your vision, your consciousness, and the things that you pay attention to or act on are going to be filtered through the Capricorn energy. So this means cardinal Earth, Saturn, things of that nature. What the hell does that mean? Let me tell you. This is about responsibility, structure, and ordering. We have a few planets in Capricorn. I'm going to tell you about these. But Capricorn is a feminine cardinal Earth sign ruled by Saturn. So simply what this means, let's break it down in all those four things. When you have feminine energy, this has nothing to do with gender. This is Hermetic science. It's expression versus receptivity. Feminine energy receives rather than expressing outward, okay? So Capricorn is about receiving an energy from your surroundings, but cardinal. You create something with what you've received, okay? But we do this with Earth. This is our resources, our tangible, practical goods, logic and resource, or just practical matters in general. We live on planet Earth, so the Earth element metaphysically corresponds with density, structure, pattern, routine, and things that can be perceived externally and agreed upon with the left brain. This is a slight divulgence, but when we talk about the metaphysical elements, Earth and air, left brain, fire, water, right brain, internal, intuitive. So the left brain, air, and Earth is externalized and logical. So to summarize, feminine cardinal Earth, we're asking ourselves, because the sun and Mercury is in this constellation, what resources have we received? What is available to us at our disposal right now? What's the best thing we can do with it? Capricorn energy, I know every zodiac sign has stereotypes because people play out attributes of their sun sign. When you talk about Saturn, this card, Capricorn, we talk about bossiness and controlling and this, that, and the third, but the highest expression of Capricorn is structuring and ordering and being responsible, being diligent. The Earth element makes a lot of the Capricorn people a little colder and drier. That sarcastic, kind of funny humor, that's really their sense of humor. Really sharp and witty, sometimes dry. They're fun to be around, you know, if you're not wasting their time or fucking up their sense of obligations and responsibilities. Capricorn people in the highest expression are very responsible. And regardless if you are a Capricorn sun, I'm reminding you, you have Capricorn in your chart, regardless if CoStar or Cafe Astrology says you have no planets there. Every one of us has all these stars available the moment we're born. So when you look at your ascendant and the house positions within your chart, you'll be able to find where you experience the Capricorn energy. Before we talk about it, it's so important that you know where Capricorn is in your chart. I'm a Virgo rising, 17 degrees. So my Capricorn constellation falls within my 4th and 5th house. Okay, so as the sun is transiting my 4th and 5th house, I'm able to pay attention to my home, my family, and my creative endeavors. 4th, 5th house, respectively. So you need to understand within this month of Capricorn, you're going to be paying attention to whatever aspect of your life the Capricorn constellation falls inside of your chart, aka what house is it? You'll be paying attention to acting on these things, structuring and organizing this part of your life, and that's really beautiful. And the cool thing about this, we're not going to talk about the moon because the moon changes signs about every 2 to 3 days. So by the time you watch this, it's probably moved degrees, and chances are if you watch this like days after, it's not even going to be in the same sign. So when we talk about Mercury, this is also in Capricorn, okay? Ooh-wee. Let me pull the grid. Today, on the 23rd, Mercury is at 15 degrees Capricorn, okay? And this is really beautiful. So we're halfway through Capricorn Mercury. And that's not even true, because I want you guys to be aware, this winter solstice, this winter season, I mean, this is the winter card. It's low sun, low vitality, low energy. So even though we're talking about the Capricorn energy, let me elaborate, y'all. This is so important. I did a solstice spread for myself the other day, and this came up as the general theme, okay? So when it's winter time, it's cold as shit, right? Thank God I'm in St. Louis right now. Even though it's winter, it feels like spring compared to Chicago's fall. I don't want to say I'm not ready, but I've never experienced the Chicago winter, and I'm going to do it this year. So, ooh, man, send some energy to your boy. Send some sun that way. But here's the thing, y'all. When the sun is going through winter in your hemisphere, vitality is going to be a little bit lower, okay? Because things are colder. We're not getting as much sunlight. I'm going to tell you off some astrology shit. This is the time now to buy your vitamin D supplements, to buy your vitamin C supplements, to buy elderberry supplements, to stock up on tea and make sure that you just hydrate throughout the season. Preventative maintenance is the best way to take care of any problem in your life. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Don't wait till you get sick to take care of your body this season, okay? And this is really what I'm telling you guys is when we talk about Saturn, this is the energy of adding boundary, limit, structure, or restriction, okay? If we had none of this energy, we wouldn't be able to build. We would have no order or control in our life in any way, shape, and form, okay? Know that. But that being said, when we look at Saturn in our natal chart and we read the traditional significations of Saturn, we get really demotivated, and a lot of us don't like Saturn because it represents being rejected or humiliated or held back from things that you want. But I'm telling you guys, if you never were held back, you would not have the structure or the foundation to experience this video right now. Promise you, you wouldn't experience damn near anything because you wouldn't even be able to get out of bed because you wouldn't step on the floor. You wouldn't even have a bed to sleep in, you know? We need structure in the physical 3D realm. Saturn is a very earth planet, okay? So what I'm telling you guys is when we look at the season and pay attention to our boundaries, limits, and restrictions within our own life and our own energy, I don't know what house Capricorn is in your chart, but if this happens to be one of your career houses or your job house or this, that, and the third, you may feel more pressure to organize and structure and order certain things in your life, but the resources we have at our disposal may not be as high. Again, low vitality, low sunlight. So this is the fall. Bears are hibernating right now, I'm pretty sure. That's what I heard they do in winter, depending on the bear, you know? So think about hibernation in some way, shape, or form. This is probably what's going to be going on. I feel like most of us have this realization every year. Maybe you don't and just kind of see this unconsciously, but this is the principle of rhythm. Things slow down and speed up at different times of the year. So you can't, as much as you want to, usually you can't keep the same momentum as you had during spring and summer when you go into fall, winter. It's going to change in some way, shape, or form, sometimes fast, sometimes slower, you know? So it's important to stay up with your rhythm and honor your limits. That is the devil, is like the things that you can't do. Some things that you can't do are for your protection. That's what boundaries are for. And this is going to be really important when we talk about the Venus and Capricorn going retrograde. But I want to say also with Mercury going through the sign of Capricorn, this means our intellect, thoughts, and rationality is also centered on the cardinal earth energy, meaning we don't want to waste mentality. We don't want to waste the breath. We want to think about things that are logical. This is prime time planning energy. So most of us coming up to the new year are already setting some form of plans, goals, or sequencing our events for the next year. And that's really beautiful. And I want to let you guys know, I said Capricorn, or Mercury is halfway through the Capricorn constellation. That's true. It's at 15 degrees today. But as Mercury goes into the sign of Aquarius, it's going to hit a retrograde as well and slide back into Capricorn. So we're going to have quite a lot of time in this winter season to work with the Saturn energy mentally, to think about our boundaries, limits, and restrictions, to place them more adequately, and maybe to remove them where they are too divisive and not protecting and maybe harming us, okay? This is really important. And again, you want to look at the house that you have Capricorn in. Not only do we have Mercury in the sign of Capricorn, we also have Venus in the sign of Capricorn retrograde at 26 degrees, okay? And you guys already understand, probably if you don't, I'll let you know, Venus corresponds to our happiness, our joy. Venus is also what you want. If you saw any videos on TikTok or maybe just scrolling through social media, if you've heard about the Venus retrograde, we're already talking about things like relationships and lovers and the past revisiting us. And that's not incorrect, but Venus is so much deeper, man. Venus corresponds to your sense of values in the world, the possessions and resources you have that contain value. Venus is the ruler of Taurus and Libra, right? So think about your relationships, sure, but also your values and the things that you need to sustain your life. That's what Venus is. Generally speaking, you only value things that in some way contribute to your sense of being or your stability or your self-preservation. We value food, we value money, we value the people in our life if it makes sense to us. And this is really what it is right now. It's like these things need to make sense with it being the Capricorn energy. Capricorn energy rules common sense, quite literally. As far as what do we have, feminine, and what can we create out of this? With our resources, Earth, what's the thing that we can do? Cardinal, what is initiated from this? So this Venus retrograde is prime time. Venus retrogrades last 40 days, y'all. It's prime time to restructure your relationships with people, money, habits, routines, structures. And with Venus going retrograde, like I'm telling you guys, there is elements of the past coming back up, because when any planet goes retrograde, you know, planets go direct, right? We're all going around the sun in the same direction. That's what direct means. But whenever Earth hits a certain position, based on the way Earth can see these other planets, it may look like the planet's actually going the other way. That's what the retrograde is about, okay? So operationally, what this means is when you're on Earth and another planet is retrograde from our perspective, we're gonna receive the energy from that planet in a less direct way, a more slow way. And that is neither good nor bad. While this happens, energy is always constantly fluxing in and out of everywhere. So whenever we have a planet slowing down in its degree or going backwards, we get to deal with our own internal planet. As above, so below. We see these things outside of you, but you have a moon, sun, Saturn, and everything inside of your body. So you have time to tune in with your own Venus energy, your own sense of values, and other people are going to be doing the same collectively, everyone on Earth. So that being said, this energy prompts some people to try to hit up their exes and try to reconnect with other people. And this might not even be romantic relationships. It could be platonic people or people that you had invested time in before, people that you valued, people that you had created some sort of relationship and shared resources together. Okay, that's really what happens in a Venus retrograde. So with the element being cardinal Earth, we're still in Capricorn energy. It's prime time to make sense of these relationships and organize them in some way when or if they come back into your life. If there's no purpose, no use, if a common sense look says there's no reason for you to have the relationship, you don't have to be in that relationship. You don't have to entertain friendships that don't have purpose. I hate to say that to some of y'all because a lot of y'all are so damn nice that you hate to hurt other people's feelings. But that being said, man, when you look at your resources and goals, Capricorn, Sun, Mercury, and then Venus, and then you create a plan, if another person has no fit inside of that plan, chances are it's a waste of time. to involve them in that plan. And I know this can get very touchy when we start talking about our fourth house and things of that nature, the people that know us privately, connect with us emotionally, our family members, our close friends, the childhood friends. Comfortability is great, but comfortability is not growth, okay? And that's the hard, cold, ugly truth. Sometimes when people choose consciously to leave you out of their life on a daily basis, that's their way of saying, my life is somewhat better without you. And it doesn't have to be that polarized and negative and mean and like divisive or an attack. That's not an attack. It's just like, I have a plan, I'm doing X, Y, Z. It may not be within the cards, the time and space that I have, the resources I have right now to go hit up you and go drink at the bar or go hang out while I have a plan, you know, this, that, and the third. I'm just giving one example so y'all can see the Capricorn energy with the Venus retrograde coming in real time. But apart from Venus retrograde, what you guys need to know is Pluto is going through the sign of Capricorn. And this is a video that we could talk about it's a whole video in itself, and we could talk for hours about this. But Capricorn is collectively the sign in the energy that we're all experiencing evolution through right now, because Pluto is transiting this constellation, okay? Pluto rules power, control, death and rebirth, and evolution on a soul level, okay? And these buzzwords get kind of hard to understand until you put them in practice. Power and control is somewhat of the easiest way to understand this. You either take power and control or you relinquish it. If you studied evolution in a school setting, this brings up the concept of Darwinism and predator and prey and things of that nature. And there's truth to it when you actually look at Pluto. I'm not gonna lie. I won't hold you guys. This is some real shit. Watch Pluto in its constellation. Look at the Saturn energy manifest within all of our lives as far as government, authority, top-down structures, capitalism. We're in the late stages of capitalism. And this is reflective of Pluto and Capricorn. How we've built and ordered our resources over time. How we've built government, countries, churches, corporations, things of that nature. That is what Capricorn has to deal with, the 10th house, right? The structures that sustain the test of time. Some things on this planet have sustained so much time that we've shifted on the earth, but these structures are still standing. Some of these structures that were built for order and protection are no longer protecting us. And they're actually causing a lot more harm than good. So this is what Pluto and Capricorn is about, is our fight is with Saturn right now. Our fight is with the fucking government. Look at where Saturn is right now. It's in the sign of Aquarius. This is our community. This is our global collective species as humanity. That's what Aquarius has to deal with, man. And the restrictions are being received and placed through Aquarius right now. Y'all are living through the pandemic with me. This is not pseudo. Y'all know what the fuck is going on. So that being said, we have to make more sense of the world around us. Pluto puts things in perspective, man. If it's late stage capitalism and there's power and control struggles with the government and authority in the world at large, Saturn is going to tell us how to fix this. And it's Saturn and Aquarius coming together as a community is how we fix this. Uranus is transiting Taurus at 11 degrees. So collectively, we are finding freedom and deconditioning from Saturn through the Taurus energy, through fixed Earth, through what makes sense. That's beautiful. This is, again, correlating to Venus. Like I said, Venus rules Taurus. So that being said, the 7-year transit of Uranus and Taurus, we're only a couple years in, is reflective of the currency changes we've already seen, the value shift that's happening in the world. Cryptocurrency is getting big. People are investing in stocks. People are quitting jobs. There's labor shortages, food supply shortages, supply chain shortages in many shapes and forms, man. And this is all reflective of Saturn and Aquarius, Uranus, Taurus, because of Pluto and Capricorn, the power and control that's happening because of authority in our lives. And this can manifest macrocosmically with your government, or this can manifest microcosmically with the relationships that you have in your life, with people or substances or habits and indulgences. So we're talking about Venus and Capricorn. There's going to be some things that we can't change right now because Saturn rules time, okay? Longevity, things that are placed and revolve and revolutions end up building, like the rings of a tree. The system's broken. What did Kanye West say in that song, Power? That song is so Pluto. If y'all listen to Kanye West's Power, the system's broken, the schools closed, the prisons open. you know, among so many other fucking things. That's the tip of the iceberg, man. This is Pluto and Capricorn, y'all. I'm telling you. So the thing is, there's going to be times in this space, Earth, where you cannot stand to deal with the external authority because it's taking power and control over you in a way that is not fair or appropriate. So when you cannot shift the external authority, it's up to you to shift your internal authority, to change your mentality, change your emotions. I'm not one to preach problems with no solutions. Among so many other things, I believe these transits that we're experiencing, Uranus and Taurus, and especially the later degrees of Saturn and Aquarius, we're going to see some interesting restrictions, which we've already been seeing, but I think the way out of it is going to be with our community and our brothers and sisters. Putting less value on the system itself and more value on the people. This is what the Age of Aquarius is about, y'all. And that being said, this is going to require a lot of rest, reflection, and deconditioning, deprogramming from the matrix. And this is spooky to some people for me to say the M word, but I'm letting you know, dude, the matrix is just a system. Look that up in the dictionary. It's a conglomerate ecosystem. If you ever mine like a rock or a crystal or something, the rock that forms around it is considered the matrix, you know? So when I say matrix, I'm talking about the system that we collectively are a part of, aka society. That is Saturn and society, the things that we can agree upon in this reality. Saturn is the last planet you can see without a telescope. So I'm gonna let you know right off that correspondence, it's gonna represent the conditions that we experience within our society. Okay? Super important to think about it that way too, man, because the restrictions that we're receiving, aka Saturn, are a little fucked up. They're transforming as we speak with Pluto and Capricorn. So it's time to wake the fuck up, man. Your government probably doesn't give a fuck about you. I'm not saying that to be negative. Who gives a fuck about you? Probably your family, probably your friends, probably your community. Because they don't require you to pay them money. You know what I mean? We're shifting our values right now. Uranus and Taurus, man. People are worth more than money. Your life is more important than your job. I think we're all coming to this realization. Some of us are wasting time because we're trying to find so much money, dude. Time is your most valuable resource. You can't buy that shit back. It's priceless. And some of the corporations that we work for would replace you in a heartbeat the moment that you can't show up or you decide to quit. So why do we put so much external value and emphasis on the corporations and structures that don't benefit us? You know, fulfillment is what we really want, man. This is our 10 of Cups, man. What we've probably realized as well through this pandemic is happiness and success is not the same thing as fulfillment. And it's possible to be successful and not fulfilled. To go show up for work and hit the top of the board and get a promotion, this, that, and the third, but still not be happy. Because you're not living your purpose through your work. You guys know the plague is right before the Renaissance. So, weird times for sure, but it's times to be optimistic about. I'm gonna leave you guys off on Jupiter is transiting into the sign of Pisces at the end of this month. So Jupiter is leaving its fall and going back home. Jupiter loves the sign of Pisces. I believe, time will tell obviously, but I believe the restrictions that we're experiencing collectively through Saturn and Aquarius are either gonna lessen up once we hit the expansiveness of Pisces, or above all, I think humanity is going to feel a little bit more optimistic about it. And you can kind of see this as Jupiter is hitting the late degrees of Aquarius. It's at 28 today, okay? And once it hits 30, that's 0 degree Pisces. So it's a good time to let go. This is on top of my deck. Okay, boom. That's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you this, okay? So when we talk about Jupiter and Pisces, man, Pisces is about mutable water. And I want to say this was a hard year for a lot of you guys based on the Chiron retrograde and the shadow work that you inevitably had to confront this year. The deconditioning and the reconditioning that you had to do because your spirit left you no other option based on isolation, alone time, and then just the emotions in your body. You had to feel this shit. But I'm letting you guys know with Jupiter and Pisces, you could probably expect a lot more tears, a lot more crying, a lot more release. And you want to be optimistic about this because you need to understand and overstand what's happening. Just because you're crying and feeling sadness doesn't mean that your life is over. If you're feeling sadness, you may be unblocking some rumination. When you pull that sword out, yeah, it's going to fucking hurt. You may cry a lot. But that being said, you'll have a lot more range of motion. Your heart can start to heal when there's no blockages in there. This card is important, man. The tarot is a tool. I can tell you guys about astrology without this, but I'm letting you guys know this is just a map of consciousness. So if you have a tarot deck, you could just pull this one out, put the Three of Swords out there, and then do a reading for yourself and let them show you, let your higher self show you what healing needs to be done. Because we all have to heal, man. This is coming into alignment with mind, body, and soul. So I'm wishing you guys the best. That is the work that we're doing collectively as well as internally, macro and microcosm. As above, so below. There's nothing new under the sun. These transits are not new. Better believe it. Check the ephemeris. These are just new times and a new awareness that humanity has in general. So get excited. This is a beautiful time to be on Earth. It's very exciting because right after Pluto hits the late degrees of Capricorn, you should already know it's going to go into the sign of Aquarius, and we're going to have even more technological and information revolution. It's going to be a war on information as well, so we're going to have to watch out for that too. Get with the times, preventative maintenance, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, man. I don't want to say the only way, but the most sure way to predict the future is to create it. Run that shit back. Listen to that. Telling you all the truth. I love you guys. I want to let you know if you're seeing this video before Christmas, before Yule, before I head back to Chicago, you can grab Simplified Astrology Volume 1, the book, and you'll have it signed by me. So I'm signing copies until I go back to Chicago. Other than that, the course is also discounted. I think I have a couple more readings left. Zoom calendar is completely booked up. Thank you guys so much for that. I'll reopen it once the new year starts. I have a lot of traveling to do. A little bit of a family emergency thing happened, but yeah. So once I hit that new year, things will be business as usual is how I'm intending it to be. But yeah, guys, use this Venus retrograde energy in Capricorn season to set the winter stage up for success and fulfillment for you, okay? Because we'll break down the transits as we go, but this is a good time to organize your winter with this being Capricorn. And even though we'll go from Capricorn to Aquarius to Pisces, as we're going through those constellations with the sun, we'll have other planets with the retrograde cycle still in the Capricorn constellation. So it's important to be hip with the Saturn energy. Find freedom through your responsibilities rather than from them, guys. Find freedom through your mind rather than from the mind. I love y'all. I'll see y'all pretty soon.